Hey guys, it's let's see, April 11th, and it's about probably 45 degrees out. Not too bad, but this one day of warmth is going to be spoiled by probably 3 to 4 days of rain and snow, and they're talking we could get another 12 to 24 inches depending on how this storm tracks over the next 4 days. But it's crazy. I mean, we are almost the middle, well, we are in the middle of April, and we're getting 1 to 2 feet of snow. But today I wanted to get the Minneapolis in the garage. I threw the alternator back on the Case SC with the new belt, the 5/8 wide V belt. So that should be good to go. Shouldn't have any more overheating problems. What happened was I put a 1/2 inch belt on there with a standard 1/2 inch pulley on the alternator, and that belt was slipping on the fan, so the fan wasn't turning fast enough to keep the engine cool after a little while of running. But now that we got the proper size belt and the proper pulley on the alternator, we should be good to go. So what else? I just quickly threw I had another friction style throttle lever with the bakelite knob on it. These are kind of hard to find with the threaded bakelite knob. I've got one on my M, I put one on the H, so I'll have that. It's like an M&W style friction throttle. I've got that off of this tractor, so if anybody is interested in it, let me know, and we can work something out. Maybe just something out of the kindness of my heart. But let's get the Minneapolis fired up, and we'll get it over to the garage, and then we'll start working on a couple things with it. So noticed a couple things already. This tire here is pretty low. Not really liking the looks of that. Looking pretty low. And I know that this rim, you guys can see it's ready to go. So I don't want to mess with it too much, but eventually I'm going to have to get at least one rear wheel for this, and probably tires. This wheel looks okay on the outside. The inside might be okay. Up there by the valve stem looks kind of questionable. But anyways, let's get this thing started, and we'll go from there. I haven't started this thing since we brought it over, so we'll see how well it does. See if I can't get... Can't argue with that. not very often I get 2 tractors in the garage. This is issue number 1 that we got to fix, is this fuel leak here. So let me stop the camera here and we'll get this thing shut off. Alright guys, well, I got this thing, I had to take the carburetor off because I got to put some Teflon tape on all these fittings. And I know a lot of guys are going to say, oh, don't use Teflon, it's going to plug everything up. But you know what? I've used it several times without issue. So I'm having a hard time getting this thing to idle properly. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there, but just can't seem to get it to idle. It'll idle close to where it probably should be, but not. Then again, I've never owned a Minneapolis, so I don't know. I don't have the manual for anything for this, so I don't even know exactly where it's supposed to be idling at. Should be plenty tight there. So that's one. I should have probably taped that one up before I put it in, but I can make it work. It's just not going to be as easy. You don't need many wraps on this either, just a couple. So I kind of wanted to talk about something here while I'm working. I've been contacted by a number of younger people who enjoy my videos, are into tractors, and they've expressed some concerns to me about not having many friends and kind of, you know, not wanting to share their hobby with others because of they might feel embarrassed, or you know, it's just not part of their lifestyle where they grow up or whatever. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I grew up in the suburbs of Minneapolis, and I kept my tractor hobby a secret from most of my friends. My real close friends knew about it, but most of my other friends didn't really have a clue. And sometimes, you know, I kind of regret that. I mean, it helped me to have probably a little bit more interesting social life, but you know what? You're gonna like what you like, and it shouldn't matter what anybody else thinks. I mean, when you're a teenager or a young person, it's really tough because you want to be part of kind of the in crowd or whatever, and I was the same way. But you know, everything works out in the end, and just like what you like, man. Whatever it is, whether it's tractors, whether it's cars, whatever, you know, whatever you want to like. Don't let anybody tell you you're weird or goofy. And if there's anything I've learned through my 30 years, it's that we're all a little weird and goofy. It's just a matter of how much. you know. So that's my little soapbox, I guess, my little rant. Just keep on keeping on, man. Do what you like, and that's it. Because you only get one life, so you might as well enjoy it. You might as well enjoy it. I hope this cures my leak problem. And I hope I can get this thing to idle properly. I don't know, see the Marvel Schiebler, or Schebler, however you want to say it, their carburetor instructions are pretty vague, because they really only have 3 models. They have small, medium, and large. So that doesn't leave much room for elaboration. So I've tried posting some messages on the yesterday's tractor forum to see what I can figure out, but that has been to little avail. No, I wasn't getting any leaks there, so I'm going to leave that. You know what? Since I got it apart, I better just do it. Really don't want to. No, I think I'm just going to leave it. I think I'm going to leave it, because we were okay the first time, so. These compression fittings work really well anyways. Up here I got them on the sediment bowl. Long as they're gluten tight. Not over tight though, because you can split these compression fittings and then you're in the same spot you were. So should be good. I actually had to loosen the tank up a bit to get this thing, get the fuel line off, but luckily that's an easy tank to do that. So this is kind of the first thing I wanted to do, is fix this fuel leak. Gonna have to kind of reshape the line a little bit. There we go. far we ain't getting any leaks with the fuel tank, so that's good. Let's see what we get with the sediment bowl here and everything. Well, looks like it's all dry, so that's good. I think it's all dry anyway. Yep, I think so. Alright, that's the first issue. Second issue, I wanted to adjust the clutch. And this is going to be kind of a learning process for me, because I'm not exactly sure how to do that on this tractor. I know there's an access panel on the other side of the tractor, but we'll have to dive into that. Just to see. Another learning curve. I gotta wait till it's warmer out, but I gotta clean out this air cleaner, soak it in probably a gallon, or I'll probably soak it down with oven cleaner and then pressure wash it inside and out. I saw a drip, so I'm trying to. Oh, probably help if the bowl drain was tight. That might be part of the issue. Alright, well, that's that. So let's take a look at this clutch here. I'll bring my tractor stool. Oh, okay. Well, that's easy. This panel here is just held in by this spring clip. So, let's see if I can get the camera set up. Okay, well, pretty easy. I'm probably going to have to loosen that though to get it out of the way. Get a flashlight. And a stool. Alright, let's take a look here. Now, apparently, there's a pin that allows me to turn this collar, or turn the okay. Alright, let me show you guys here. Okay, inside here, see if I can see if I can do this here. there's a pin that hangs out the back side of the clutch. This pin right here. We got to pull that out, and then we turn the collar. I'm thinking it's clockwise to tighten everything up. So let me. Geez, this isn't going to be easy to do. I'm going to have to. Well, let me try this here. Hold on, let me get some room worked in here. Alright guys, so here's how it works. This pin, if you can see it, it's a little round pin with a tapered end, and then it's got kind of a flat on it. That pin has to be pulled out, and then the collar of the clutch, I pushed on the fingers of the clutch here. The collar has to be turned clockwise to tighten, counterclockwise to loosen. Alright? And this clutch was adjusted way too tight. And I just found that out by doing some trial and error. And, you know, I thought it was too loose, so I tightened it. I went clockwise with it. Still wasn't doing anything, so then I backed it off probably a half a turn, and I was able to get the clutch to snap in and engage. It should be similar to a John Deere. So you've got an over-center clutch. You hear it snap back, and then clips in forward or snaps forward. Back, forward, right? So, and the easiest way to adjust that collar and prevent everything from turning, obviously the clutch has to be engaged or back, but if you put your transmission in road gear, that'll prevent the shaft and everything from turning, so you can adjust that collar. But let me take it out of gear just so I don't forget. So that's essentially how that works. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not. Maybe I can sneak this GoPro in there. Let's try that. You never know. So that pin right there, you can kind of see it as a tapered end then with like a flat back on it. So that has to be pulled backwards. And it engages. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's some small teeth on the back side that it engages into. So it's like little notches. But that's all I got to do for that. So I'm going to get the cover and everything back on here. I just had to loosen these clips. This is the clip that holds the cover in place, and then this is the clip for the hand crank. But I also want to take and adjust this steering wheel. It has an adjustable height on it, so I'm going to take this bolt out, these two bolts out, and bring the steering wheel up so that it's at a higher height, because it really doesn't clear your knees where it's at. And I also wanted to pull the valve covers off, get it running here and pull the valve covers off and see if I can't get the oilers working. So let me I'll adjust that steering shaft and then get it running, pull it outside, and we'll see if we can get the oilers working. Alright guys, well, we got the steering shaft moved up. I pulled the valve covers off. I did hit them. There's these little tiny nipples up inside here that are your valve oilers. It's just like a drip oiler, and all you're supposed to do if they're clogged is turn them a little bit with the pliers. And I did that, but let's see what happens here. Give it a little choke.
be underneath the tire.
I didn't hook the... Alright. Making sure I didn't hook the air cleaner back up. Let's try a little bit of a choke. down the road. good. Idled all the way down. Runs pretty good. Maybe we should fire up the Farmall H and test out the throttle. Was idling a little low. Still runs a little rough. I don't know, maybe the maybe it's got needs a valve job. I'm sure the whole motor needs to be gone through. It's probably never been done, but runs good at a high RPM though. We'll go ahead and let that one run out of gas. And I think I'm going to fire up the M and actually maybe plow a little bit on the side of the driveway just to make some room in case we do get a bunch of snow. So let's do that. I don't know where to stick this thing here. I hit my knee. Put it right here for now. Well, we got all the snow cleared away. Sorry I didn't turn the camera back on, but I got stuck right here because of this big hump of ice. I had one rear tire on the ice, and then I had one rear tire on the frozen ground, and my front end was buried in that. So I tried load her up, load her down, didn't work either way. Tried using brakes, didn't work. So I went and got the H and pulled it out backwards. But plenty of room now for this snowstorm that's going to come, or supposed to come. But yeah, that's 3 tractors we ran today. Maybe this weekend we'll run a couple more, and then maybe we'll do. I had a request for all tractors running at the same time, so maybe we should do something like that. But this video is already plenty long, so I'm gonna stop it here. And thanks for watching, thanks for wrenching, and sorry it was so drawn out, but here we go.